Hello and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be doing the long-awaited book tour because my bookshelf finally arrived after 2 months of waiting. And yeah, here's a quick overview. It came in barely 2 days ago, so it's not finished. I just have the books in and I've just barely started on the decorating. There will most likely be spoilers in this video, but I will always warn you guys beforehand. I will always give you guys a timestamp to skip to if you guys don't want to hear it. So yeah, let's just jump into it then. This video ended up being so much longer than I expected. I already have like an hour and a half worth of footage and I haven't even gone through my sister's bookshelf, so this is definitely gonna have to be divided into probably 3 parts. So yeah, today I'll be going through these 2 top shelves. Before I start going through these books, let me just explain that out of all the books that I've read, I'm pretty sure I own every single one of them, except for the Hunger Games trilogy. I borrowed that at the library. I wanted to buy them for myself, but I think they were working on changing the covers everywhere, so they were out of stock absolutely everywhere, and by then I had already finished reading the books, so I read The Hunger Games. I loved it. Also, I had to read The Great Gatsby at school, but it's a classic, so it's not really up my alley, so I didn't enjoy it, but at least now I can say that I've read a classic. And as you can tell, or as you can probably tell, my favorite genre is definitely fantasy. But yeah, let's just jump into this then. Starting at the top shelf, I have my, well, I guess it's like my magical shelf. I have the Harry Potter collection here, and I have a little tiny Hedwig, and this is a little Hogwarts that's supposed to light up, but there's no batteries in it at the moment. So yeah, these are the only 2 decorations I actually have on my shelf so far, but I know I have some other Harry Potter things. But yeah, actually, let's take this out. Here is the entire Harry Potter collection, and look at this. It's so beautiful. You know what, let's just get all the books out while we're at it. I have only read the first 4 so far, and then I started on the 5th one. Yeah, this is where I left off at. And yeah, it was just a bit... These were some of the first books I ever read. I think it was last summer. And by the time I reached the 5th book, then I kind of wanted to try something else, and that's when my friend recommended Throne of Glass to me, so then I kind of moved on to other things, and then forgot to come back to it. But I'm planning on finishing this once and for all this summer, but you guys have to see these covers. They're so beautiful. Well, was beautiful. Yeah. Oops. Here's the second one. And then my favorite one, or my favorite cover, this one is stunning. Damn, I knew my books were in bad shape, but I didn't know that they were in this bad of a shape. Oh, Lord. 4th one. This is the biggest one. This is the one I'm on, and it got a little intimidating, which is probably why I stopped reading it. And boom, here's Snape. Yikes. Oh, I didn't even notice this. That's supposed to be Malfoy. But yeah, I've seen all the movies, and Harry Potter is very big in this household, like especially for me, my sister, and my dad. And we always have to watch Harry Potter at least twice every single year, and we've been doing that. I'm actually not sure for how long, but many years at least. I know it was before the final movie came out, because me and my dad actually went and watched it in 3D when it came out, and I will never forget the Dementors in the movie theater. It was awesome. Anyway, yeah, love Harry Potter. There's a story that I have to revisit every single year, several times a year. So I thought it was about time to, actually read the books. Now that I'm actually into books, I might as well actually read the books. So, yeah. I'm gonna assume that everyone here knows the story of Harry Potter anyway, so I don't really need to give a little description. The next book is Caraval. This is the Caraval series. These, I believe, are the UK covers, and then this is the US one. And I could have bought them all in the UK version, but the first one just isn't this. This one is so much prettier than the UK version, but the 2 other ones I don't really care much for. So I just bought the UK versions. So yeah, it's a trilogy. I have not read these yet though, but I'm super excited to. These will probably be my next books after I finish what I'm currently working on, but yeah. I haven't read it, so I can't really tell you what it's about, but definitely some kind of like circus thing, enemies to lovers. That's all I know. I believe you're supposed to go into this knowing little to nothing. So yeah, I believe this is the little like synopsis. And let's check out the first line. Also, I believe there's a map. Yep. There's a map. It took 7 years to get the letter right. And then there's a few letters. So yeah, I'm so excited to read this. I'm really hoping I'm gonna love this. And I think I will. I have a gut feeling. And then we have Once Upon a Broken Heart. Oh lord. Which is written by Stephanie Garber, which is the same author that wrote the Artfol series. So if I remember correctly, I do believe this is in the same universe. And I read somewhere that you should read Artfol first because there's like some little Easter eggs or something, but it's not necessary. Recommended, but not necessary. This is the UK cover, and it is so beautiful. I love this, which is kind of funny because I hated it the first time I saw it. I'm going to show on screen the cover I had seen first. And I was waiting for that one to get in stock because they were sold out at the time that I was looking for this book. But I eventually just said fuck it and got this one. And I'm so glad I did because it's so beautiful. I can't believe I didn't like it. And I've heard that this is a book that feels very much like a fairy tale. Like it's got like strong like fantasy fairy tale vibes, like storybook vibes, and this fits. Look at this. It's beautiful. I cannot wait to read it. Oh, here's the back, by the way, if you guys want to see what it's about. I don't actually know what it's about. I prefer going into things not knowing what they're about. So, yeah, just pause now if you want to read about it. But yeah, I think this is my most anticipated book, actually. Going off of the cover and the vibe alone, I believe this is going to be a 10 out of 10, at least for me. But yeah, let's go check out the first line. And the map, because I'm pretty sure there's oh yeah, there's a map. Look at this. This is beautiful. The bell hanging outside the curiosity shop knew the human was trouble from the way he moved through the door. Doesn't that sound intriguing? That sounds awesome. Yeah, I definitely cannot wait to read this. I'm so excited. So I think that Once Upon a Broken Heart and the Artfol series will have to be my next reads. Oh gosh. Next up, I have my Sarah J. Maas shelf. Or, well, it was supposed to be, but then I kind of ran out of space for books. So I had to stack these up like this and then add the Cruel Prince. So now it's just my top 3 shelf. These are my absolute favorite series. So my third favorite is ACOTAR. And if you've been on Book Talk or Bookstagram or anything at all, I can pretty much guarantee that you've heard about this. Everyone has heard about it. Everyone has read it. Everyone loves it. And yeah, it was something that I was very scared of not liking going into it, so I was very happy when I did actually like it, because it's a fandom that I wanted to be a part of. But yeah, let's take a closer look at this. So here are the books. It's a bit of a commitment. I mean, the first book looks pretty normal, but then the second and third books are massive. Do you think those are big? Look at this one. This one is massive. I was so scared when I picked it up, but then I turned it over and I saw which character it's about, and I was like, never mind, this is gonna feel like 200 pages. And then this is like a 2.3. What? And then this book is like a 2.5. It's like a little novella, an in-between book. Yeah, super tiny. So it's technically 4 books. This is an ongoing series, but it doesn't end on a cliffhanger, so you don't have to worry about, you don't have to worry about that. It's high fantasy, meaning, fae and stuff. If you've read Sarah J. Maas, I think you can understand where I'm going with this. Romance, and kind of, I don't think these are actually considered 18+. This one is. I'm pretty sure this one is. If it's not, I'm going to be very surprised. But yeah, it's there's definitely a bit of spice in it. The first one isn't that bad. Actually, none of these are really that bad. There's a few scenes, like, in the... yeah, there's a few scenes every now and then. This book, there's a scene everywhere. It's like every chapter there's a scene. But, yeah, spicy books. But, basically, this story is about... Oh, I've read all of this, by the way. I loved it. Wait, here's the back, actually, if you guys want to read about it yourself. But, yeah, basically it's about Feyre, who kills this wolf one day. And, you find out that the wolf was actually, am I supposed to say this? Wait. Yeah, here it says that Feyre has just killed the wrong wolf, and, a Fey male turns up on our doorstep and, kind of takes her away. I want to say almost, not kidnaps, but forcibly, okay, but forces her to come with him over to, the Fey land, I guess. Here's the map, by the way. And, yeah, I can't really say anything else than that because it's supposed to be a mystery. But, yeah, basically you have this human, Feyre, weak, small, fragile human that's thrown into the world of Fey. You know, beautiful, strong, fast creatures. Manipulative, lying, deceitful. And she finds out that there's a curse on the land. And, yeah, that's all I can really tell you about this book. But so much more happens. Saying that, it feels like such a tiny portion of the story, honestly. But, yeah. I'm really glad that I loved this. Let's actually check out the first line. The forest had become a labyrinth of snow and ice. Yeah. I don't know if I can actually pick a favorite out of these books. I know this is the fan favorite. Everyone loves this book. I loved it too. But this one felt like Throne of Glass. That's why I loved it so much. And then this one was about my favorite character. So, I don't know if I can pick a favorite, but it'll probably be one of the... I want to say it's maybe a tie between these two. Maybe. I don't know. I love them all. So yeah, it's all written from the perspective of Feyre, but every now and then you'll get a chapter about, or from someone else's perspective, especially in this book. And then this book is about different characters, which is a very good thing, because this character was the best character. Then I want to get into some ACOTAR, like, fandom stuff for a moment, so there will be spoilers. So skip to the timestamp on screen if you don't want to, you know, if you don't want to hear anything about ACOTAR. If you don't want any spoilers, then I would suggest skipping to this time on screen right now. Okay. My favorite character is Nesta. Nesta's the best. I do not understand why so many people hate her. Because in my opinion, she is a much better written character than Feyre. Like, she's fine, but maybe I'm just comparing her too much to Aelin from Throne of Glass, because no one can really compete with her, and I don't know. In this book, I really fucking hated everyone other than Nesta and Cassian. They were the only people I liked. Azriel was okay. That was about it. Oh yeah, and then, you know, of course, Gwyn and, oh, what was the other girl's name? I can't remember, but, you know, the part of the Valkyrie squad. Only people I liked. Rhys was a fucking asshole in this one, okay? I hated him. I hated him so much. The only reason why I can't hate him right now is because I loved him so much in these two books. Especially in this one, okay? You know, unpopular opinion here. I loved him even more when I thought he was bad. Like, I don't know. Maybe that's a personal problem. But, yeah. And then also, if you're in the ACOTAR fandom, this is like... I want to say this is like the number one asked question, and that's, you know, who Elaine should end up with. I am not team Elaine and Azriel, because Elaine, you cannot tell me that she belongs in the court of the dreams, or, you know, the night. What are they called? What is that place fucking called? Hold up. You cannot tell me that Elaine belongs in the Night Court, okay? Because she doesn't. She does not belong there. She belongs in the Spring Court. And do not try to tell me otherwise. I know it for a fact. She needs to live somewhere where she can, like, you know, have her little garden, and I don't know. When I think of her, I think of spring. So she just belongs in the Spring Court. I know that Lucian is part of the Autumn Court, but you know, I like to believe that at some point Tamlin will get his little redemption arc, and then Lucian will maybe Tamlin has to die for him to really redeem himself. Like if he sacrifices himself to save the world or something, then I think Lucian will take over the Spring Court, because I think Lucian really cares about it. He loves it a lot more than the Autumn Court anyway. I think that's where Lucian really belongs as well. So I like to believe that Lucian and Elaine will either run the Spring Court together, or that they'll just, you know, be a lot of help. So yeah, that's my reasoning. And then the other question that goes around the ACOTAR fandom is, does Tamlin deserve redemption? And I believe absolutely yes. I will not accept any other option, because he is not the only one that is fucked up in the series. Okay, I hated Rhys in this book way more than I ever hated Tamlin. Again, that could just be a personal thing, but I think it all comes down to perspective. We've been reading from these people's perspective, so obviously they're going to seem like the good guys, but I still, you know, hold on to the philosophy that, how does the saying go? Villains are just victims whose stories haven't been told. I know there's no excuse for what Tamlin did, but I don't believe that any character is unable to redeem themselves. I love a good redemption story, so I want a Tamlin redemption. End of the spoilers. You guys may now listen again. To my second favorite series, Cruel Prince. And this is the one thing I will not accept any criticism for. These are perfect. I wouldn't change a thing. And I will not accept any other answer, okay? Okay, moving on. Anyway, this one is on display because, first of all, it is the prettiest of the trilogy. And because it's also my personal favorite. This is like my second favorite book ever. It came so dangerously close to my first, you know, absolute favorite book. But nothing can ever top that. Anyway, let's take a closer look at these books then. So yeah, it is a fantasy trilogy, fantasy romance, and there's this extra little book with like little illustrations, and I'm not really sure what to call this, because it's like kind of like a prologue, also kind of an epilogue. I don't know, it's a little bit of everything. It's like little stories in here, but it's about Carden, not Jude. So anyway, I can't really tell you the plot because, like always, you're supposed to go in and know very little, but it is a story of, there's a lot of betrayal, a lot of lies and deception, and that is, you know, that's always amazing. It's enemies to lovers. I say these are probably the best enemies to lovers in existence, and just don't fight me on it. Awesome main character, Jude. There were some times I didn't know if I loved her or the love interest more, and that says a lot. That says a lot. So yeah, strong, badass main character. We love Jude. We also love the love interest. We love Carden. It's there's a lot of like tension, a lot of banter. The only thing that could be kind of problematic is that it's at times it's a little hard to get into, because shit doesn't really go down until, I almost want to call it like a plot twist, or like part 2 of this book is amazing. That is when you first start actually getting into the Cruel Prince, while the first part is more, it's kind of difficult because it's like a fantasy overload, you know? I've never read anything so fantasy, and there were so many like different creatures, and I don't know, there's just a lot of information all at once. That's what it felt like to me, at least. And then you don't actually hear very much about Carden in the very beginning. Like, there's just little pieces here and there, but you know, most of us are reading it for Carden, so it feels like it kind of takes a while, but it is all worth it for this book. I mean, I still love this book. I absolutely adore this book. Second half of this book and the first half of this book are super amazing, but the entirety of this book, I love The Wicked King. But if you guys buy the trilogy, for the love of God, do not read the backs of these two, because they spoil everything in the other books. So don't do that. But yeah, here is the little synopsis if you guys want to pause and read some more about it. I don't really know how to explain the plot, to be honest, but again, you have this weak, fragile, mortal human in this world of, fae, tall, strong, fast, beautiful creatures. So, yeah, that's all I can really tell you about it. But trust me, it's really good. It is really good. Beautiful map of Elfheim. And then I guess I can show you the first line, but I remember this one not being anything special. Oh god. On a drowsy Sunday afternoon, a man in a long dark coat hesitated in front of a house on a tree-lined street. Or we can go from the chapter 1 first line, which is the absolute best chapter in existence. Look at this. In Fairy, there are no fish sticks, no ketchup, no television. I thought this was a printing mistake when I first read this. I was like, what in the world? And yeah, this is just... Anyway. Definitely worth it. Love these books. We'll definitely have to reread them. Very often, actually. And also, there's a spin-off coming out. I think it's a duology about Oak in this series. So, if you guys have read this, the universe is not over yet. And then, to the books that own my heart. The Throne of Glass series. It's fucking massive, as you can tell. But let's take these out. Here they are. My children. These were the first fantasy books I'd ever read. This is why I stopped reading Harry Potter. A friend actually recommended this series to me. Bought the first book to try it out. Ate that shit up. Had to buy the entire series. And this was my obsession for like 6 months. I can't remember how long it took me to read these, but it took me a few months because these, at the last books are fucking thick. Okay, these are like normal sized books. This one is a little bigger. This one's pretty big. And then these two are huge. And then there's this one. I think it's like 900 pages. I don't know, something like that. Yep, 900 and something. But so worth it. Yes, it is a bit of a commitment. But so worth it. Okay. This is the prologue. But there is an order to read these. And I would not recommend starting with the Assassin's Blade because, again, this is the prologue. I know some people do start with this and they love it. But I don't think it's a very good book to start with in the series. I feel like I read these two first, and then I read the prologue, and then read the third one. That is the absolute best way to read it. Because you need the information from this book for definitely this book and here on out, but it's helpful to know it before this one as well. And also, this one ends on a cliffhanger, so I wouldn't recommend reading this one after that one. But yeah, this is the best order to read it. As long as you don't wait until last, because again, there's information in here that you do need for these books. So yeah, this is the best order to read it. So yeah, here is the back if you want a little synopsis. This is about Selena, and this too has a strong female main character. She's badass, she's sarcastic, she's smart. I love her. I adore her. She might be one of my favorite characters ever. I think she is the best main character that I've ever read. I absolutely love her. So yeah, it's fantasy, romance. It's like epic fantasy. There's a lot of I can't say any more than that. But this first book, at least, Selena is an assassin. At the very beginning of this book, you find out that she you know what? Let's read the first line first. Here is the map. After a year of slavery in the salt mines of Endovir, Selena Sardothian was accustomed to being escorted everywhere in shackles and at sword point. Love it. I love that line. Anyway, it's about Selena. As you can tell, she is caught. She's an assassin, but she got caught. And she's offered, I guess, a bargain of sorts to get out of her slavery, I guess. And that is to join in on this tournament to become, what was it, the King's Champion or something? I don't fucking know. So yeah, that's what this first book is about, but it becomes so much more. It feels like such a shame to narrow it down so much when it's about so much more. But yeah, these like first 3 books feel like very like a specific flavor of fantasy, if that makes any sense. It's like dark and gray and sword fights and assassins and castles and royalty. The rest feel like magic and new places and adventure and war and I don't fucking know, witches and pirates, demons, you know. It becomes so much more. And I've heard that there's people that don't like the beginning very much, but then everything turns around in this book. I loved it from book 1. I thought all this was amazing, but these first books aren't a very good representation of what you're getting into, because again, you're getting into so much more than what you believe when you first get into it. And I started really loving it in this book. And then this is my favorite book. This is my absolute favorite book ever. This one is amazing. And I think this is the fan favorite as well. I think this is most people's favorite book. It's normally this one or that one. And they're both amazing. I love these two. And then the final one, of course, was amazing. It's thick as hell. It's like 900 pages, but it feels like 200. It goes so fast. But yeah, even if you can't get through the first, 3 books, I would push on. And then if you made it through Air of Fire, you might as well read this one, because this is the fan favorite. But then again, if you stop here, I feel sorry for you for not reading this one, you know? I don't know. I loved it from book 1, but I know there's a lot of people that don't like it until later on. This book, this is about a different character. This is not from Selena's point of view. It takes place at the same time as Empire of Storms. So you can find guides online to read them, simultaneously. Which is definitely what I would recommend, because if your favorite character isn't the character in this book, then it's kind of hard to get through, especially since it's 200-300 pages longer than it really has to be. So, yeah, I read this one and then jumped to this one. I still got through it, but I think it would have been better if I had read them together. So, yeah, keep that in mind. But yeah, these are my favorite books. I would definitely recommend them. They're amazing. They're everything that you could want from a book and more. From the same author that wrote ACOTAR. Actually, let me put this back before I say anything else. Throne of Glass, ACOTAR, and then another series called Crescent City. They're all by the same author. And I think there's some kind of multiverse thing going on within her universe, I guess. Because there are actually a few I guess Easter eggs, mini little if you squint, you'll see a little crossover in the books. So they're in Kingdom of Ash, it completely flew over my head because I read these first before reading ACOTAR, but there's actually a little reference in here that of course I didn't catch because I didn't know anything about ACOTAR at the time. There are recommended orders to read the Sarah J. Maas books if you want to be able to understand all the different references. So I would, it hurts to say this because I love Throne of Glass, this nothing will ever compete, but I think you should start with ACOTAR and then read Throne of Glass, because again there is a reference in here. And I haven't read Crescent City, so I can't really speak for it, but I've heard that you should read the first Crescent City book and then Silver Flames and then the second Crescent City. I don't know why. I didn't catch any references in here, but I haven't read Crescent City, so I wouldn't know anyway. But yeah, maybe if you want to know where to start, maybe Google. I'm sure you can find different orders online. But yeah, even if you don't like one, I think you can still like the other, because this ACOTAR is more romance, it's more character driven, while Throne of Glass is definitely more plot driven. There's more plot here. And yeah, I've cried so much to these books. I think I've cried to just about every single one. And then the final one absolutely destroyed me, and so did the prologue. I will never truly be okay again. And these aren't really that sad. These are more you sit and you feel good, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, I definitely recommend all these books. They're amazing. These are my top 3 series. But of course, this one, this is the best. I feel like I should also mention that these books aren't spicy like these, except for, I think from here on out, you'll get a few scenes here and there, but it's not ACOTAR. But, you know, it's just a little heads up. But yeah, that's all I'm gonna have time for now. So I'll upload the next part next Sunday, and then the final part the Sunday after that. So yeah, thank you guys for watching this video, and I'll see you guys next Sunday.